I think you're starting to see just a more of an evolution of the soccer fan.
You're here, so on the business side, but the Kickers are totally involved in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about it. Seems to be in your DNA. Talk a little bit about what that means to the organization.
Well, the club was started in 1993 by a guy named Bobby Lennon and Cookie Ketchum, and it was a startup, and really we call it Richmond Kickers 4.0 right now with the newest ownership group that I'm part of. But being part of the community and the fabric of it, it's in my DNA from my mom and dad, and just watching my granddad build the Ukrop's grocery stores back in the day. But it's important to be involved. People don't want you to come in there and tell you what they want to see you out there and being active. This has been a really stressful and difficult year for us because of the COVID, whereas our guys in a COVID protocol, so we can't activate them in the community as much as we did last year. But guys are making appearances, working with young kids, mentoring, teaching. We have one of our players out with an ACL, two of them, Devontae DeBose and Zeb Tablib, who are trying to connect with the partnership for the future, which where Charlita Richardson is just left, but Tiffany Thomas is running now. So trying to connect with different people in the community so that these kids know that there are opportunities, not just as a soccer player, but just in the soccer community.
Can you talk a little bit about the Ukrops? So I come here in 2014. That's all I hear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a legacy name, and prior to this, we used to live in York, Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and there were Pfaltzgraff dishes. And Mr. Appel owned Fault. His family had owned Pfaltzgraff dishes. They were the staple of the people in the community. They set a level of excellence as to how they did business, how people viewed them. Talk a little bit about what you get from that and the evolution of that till you get to putting that into the DNA of the Kickers.
Gotcha. Well, my granddad started Ukrop Supermarkets in 1937 in a 700 square foot location on Hull Street Road, just down the road from where we are now. And he and my grandmother, they ran the store. They were closed on Sunday, and really, in the DNA is the golden rule: treat others as you would like to be treated. So during the war on Wednesdays, the store would close half day, and they go and help the farmers bring in their crops.
Oh.
So it's one thing to say you're part of the community, but it's another. I think that the actions speak a lot louder than words. So with the Richmond Kickers, we're trying to do that. We were really proud last year. A couple of our celebrations were we did a heritage night. A guy named Elliot Barr, who runs a local podcast. I mean, it was really important, and so we try to connect with the Latino and African American community because they're such a big part of the soccer community now. We did some work with Diversity Richmond and just bringing out the Pride community, and we just feel like soccer is that one sport that no matter what you look like, no matter what your size, no matter what your background, this is the game, that world's game, and it brings people together.
Okay, so now you're an owner. Let's go down through a list of owners. Are you more of the Steve Ballmer owner, the George Steinbrenner owner, or like could you be Jerry Jones or Mark Cuban?
Oh gosh, those are all big names.
Or either you could be like a guy who just totally is in the background and you don't know he's the owner.
Well, I'm one of many owners.
Okay.
I'm the primary guy because I'm based here in Richmond, but I consider myself as just a steward of the Richmond Kickers. I've been blessed with some opportunities, and my wife some days gets stressed about it because in a COVID environment in sports, we're down to 1,000 people.